This was a game that was really exactly what we wanted and what we needed with this team. I think first of all you got to give Kentucky Wesleyan a lot of credit. The reason we have played them and like to play them is Todd's a friend, obviously, been a terrific coach. His teams are always well prepared. They play hard, and Cardell McFarland is a high major guard. There's no question about that. So I think you've got to credit them for playing well and obviously doing a good job on the glass, which we were not good at. But I think we saw a lot of bright spots with this team, both with our personnel and with how we handled some things tonight. And at the same time, as we all know, I don't think this is a news flash, that we got an awful lot of work to do as well. But I think you look from a team perspective, defensively, a lot of good things happening. Hold them to a low percentage, force a ton of turnovers. They limit their threes, which was a real positive. Obviously, rebounding was not good. It's something that we need to focus on and get better at. And then, offensively, I think, it's good to see the balance. And, we've said from the beginning, we think that is going to be the mark of this team is the balance and different guys stepping up. And individually, I think, little things that are great signs. Even something as simple as the block at the end of the game by R.J. Smallson with 5 seconds on the clock. I mean, tremendous effort. It shows his athleticism and ability to make plays. And so I think all of that was great. And Malik, had a tough night. Hadn't played in a year. I'm not worried about it. I wouldn't read too much into it. First time under the lights in a while. But nobody's going to play harder or mean any more to our team than Malik Cook will. So, a good night all in all, because we learned a lot and we saw some positives and we saw some things we need to work on too. With our first game 8 days away.
During the timeout, after they took the lead on those 2 straight shots, did you tell them to calm down? Did you challenge them at all to kind of step up? What did you say to them that timeout?
Well, we try to remind them, as we had been all game, regardless of what the score was, that it's really about defense. That we've got a chance to be good if we can be good defensively and be committed to it. We'll get better offensively. We got a lot of guys, as we saw tonight, that can make some plays and do some things. I mean, Brian Richardson flying down the lane, for example, and trying to tomahawk a dunk. I mean, I was surprised by that. I don't know if you all were or not. But, those things are going to get better. Malik Cook is not going to have a scoreless night the rest of his career here. And so, really just told him to get focused on defense. And if we do that, we'll be in good shape. I don't have the full box, but I think it was almost 4 minutes that they went scoreless. Right in the last 10 minutes, around the 6-minute mark, that was huge for us.
Looking at Bruce, and really not just the points he scored, but how he kind of took over the game late. So like when you guys needed a bucket, he was driving the lane and really making that happen. Is that, I guess, one of his best qualities, that leadership role as a freshman? Yeah, he's we've said from the beginning he's a young man that can make plays, and the brighter the lights and the bigger the moment, he's one of those guys that wants to be in that and will go try to make something happen. And I think he tried to do that tonight. And the great thing is, we did it within the team concept and got some others involved in key moments as well, and executed what we needed to. And he's made some terrific plays tonight and obviously stood out, I think. But got a long way to go and a lot to learn too about running a team at this level. But the great thing is he's a hard worker and wants to.
How do you value to improve the game?
I'm sorry?
How do you value to improve the game? How do you evaluate the game?
The perimeter game? Well, it's really hard to do. One of the challenges with the way we want to play and the team that we have this year is that we probably don't ever want to play anybody 36 minutes and 32 minutes playing the way we play. We've got 2 guys that are going to play for us on the perimeter that were unavailable completely tonight, and so I think that was an issue for us. I think all in all, for a first time out, kind of like I said with the team, we saw some positives from the perimeter, and we saw a lot of work that needs to be done. But I think the effort was there, and that's something that we'll continue to build on.
It's only one night, but is Bruce further along than you thought he would be in terms of running the team, or is he right where you thought he would be?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a good question. I don't know that I had a certain expectation. I think what we saw tonight, I'm not surprised by. I think that's what we knew we were getting. But I think that he's in a good place. But as I said, obviously got a lot to learn, and we'll continue to get better. And we've already seen from a coaching perspective, in a short period of time, some of the things that happened tonight, were improvements on some some stuff. And so I think that'll continue to happen for not just for him, but for all of our guys.
Darren, you mentioned the rebounding difference, but it seemed to me you guys really, disrupting their game. You had a lot of steals, a lot of blocks. Was it just the ball kind of bouncing out of there, or is rebounding that big of a concern?
I think it's both, Dave, to be honest with you. I think, it's a concern. It has been from day one. And I think some of it was, we did pressure them into a lot of bad shots and quick shots, which we wanted to do and want to continue to do. That maybe led to a few bouncing their way, so to speak. But I think some of it was, we didn't drop down inside. We didn't box out, and maybe on a few of us, we got beat to lose balls, which cannot happen. The work of this team has to be that we win all of those plays, because we're probably not lining up toe to toe and smash mouthing somebody. And so I think we'll watch the film and evaluate it. But the bottom line is we've got to do a better job with it.
Darren, two of the freshmen, it seemed like Harrison, kind of limited minutes, gave you a lot statistically with 7 rebounds. He only played 14 minutes. Is he a guy you look at a little bit more in practice, or where do you evaluate him?
Well, that's what talent does. Talent finds a way to produce and get things done. And DeMontre's a terrific talent. Has an awful lot to learn about how to play at this level, how hard you have to work, and the same thing all freshmen are learning across the country right now. But I think his production shows that he's a guy that, as he grows and matures and understands more, can be productive for us. And I think one of the encouraging things from him is not just the overall numbers, but the fact that a couple of those were pretty big plays. Grabbed a huge board in traffic and had a monster block late, and then went to the line and I think made 1 and 2 down the stretch, which for a freshman and first time under the lights is pretty good.
What did you?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. What did you see when they took the lead and you obviously told them, "Come on, let's stand up and do this"? What did you see them do very well, or from practice that made them, that obviously brought them back into the ball game and obviously helped the other team?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think part of what we've been trying to build in practice, because we have so much to learn, is that you're going to play the way you practice, and part of what happened in the game, my estimation is that we had a lull, which is something we've been having in practice, because you've got to learn to sustain effort, and that's easier for veterans to do than for rookies. And so we talked about that, and I think in general we stressed the defense, and I think they responded to that. But overall, just picked up our energy level and our focus, and probably the difference in terms of from a sheer basketball standpoint was we picked up our pressure a little bit more full court, and just created a couple easy things, forced a couple bad ones that got us out in transition. I know LJ got a big bucket in transition during that stretch, and then Bruce had one as well, and that's something we're going to need to do for us to be able to score well.
Did you do you have any words or anything to say to Bruce? He tried to dunk the ball, came up a few inches short there.
Yeah, I told him if he wasn't playing so hard, he would have come out. But we guys give effort on the defensive end. We'll forgive offensive mistakes.
You talk about balance, and previously taking 45 to 68 shots. Think you get it down through the season? Balance you're looking for?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that'll get spread out even more a little bit as well. I mean, when we look out there tonight, we got we don't have a ton of experience, and 2 of the guys that, if you call sophomores experience, that we'll use, weren't available at all tonight. And so down the stretch, it was pretty much, can we get it to Sam, and can we let Bruce make some plays, and so I think that was good, but I think it'll continue to get better too, and it's going to need to for us to be as good as we can be.
All right, guys.
All right, thanks.